What's up? This is Matt. This is Let's Talk Music, and I'm here with Jay from Wants to Die. That is ONCE, not Wants to Die. It's almost when I said it to somebody else, they said, who are you? And I'm like, Wants to Die. And they're like, their band's called Wants to Die. I said, no, Wants to Die.
Right. Yep, exactly.
So we just was, kind of bullshitting before the interview. And, you tell me you're joining us from Tucson, Arizona. So that's what, 3 hour time difference?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So the new single, man, Regain Strength. Um, Tell me about it. What's the meaning and everything behind it?
Well, it really has to do with, coming from, we all have times of depression, dark times, and really hard time struggles, and it's really about, overcoming that and finding love and life again, and just regaining your strength to keep on pushing through.
Well, kind of like I said, it's been a rough Monday. That's kind of my issue today. So yeah, the song definitely pepped me up. I listened to it earlier. When I was driving down the road, and then again, right, before the interview, because I always kind of like to get pumped for the talk. So
Yeah,
and you guys did this at Hear No Evil Studios. Where's that at?
that's in Orange County, California.
Okay.
Yeah, real good guys over there. So it was a fun time. They've got a really good setup there, really good, relaxing, easy to get down in, good, really good equipment. And so yeah, it was good.
How's it? Are you guys doing an album or are you just releasing singles?
Right now we're just releasing this single. We've got two more we've got like we've got like 7 to 8 songs right now, but kind of probably gonna release the next three kind of singles, and then see where it goes, really, just kind of put out some music, see how everyone reacts to it, and go from there. But eventually there'll be enough for an album.
Right. So far, how has the reaction been to Regain Strength?
It's actually really well. People are loving it. People are loving the vibe, loving the sound, and it's great to hear how everyone's liking it. We're loving the support and love we're getting from everyone. So it's
Right.
going pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I think that's probably one of the biggest rewards to playing music and making a song and whatever the meaning is behind it or whatever. I think everybody kind of interprets music differently. You're telling me how you felt when you wrote it or when you guys, wrote it, and somebody else might think, just something else totally different, but
Right.
it in everybody's wheelhouse it works.
Yeah, for sure. For
So
sure.
I was reading in the press release that Wants to Die actually has been resurrected. So this is a band from a while back.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We all got together back in like, gosh, 2006, and started playing shows, recorded a little bit, and had some fun. And then just life kind of took us different where we couldn't really do the band anymore. And I got in a couple other bands after that. Latest one was Solus Deus, and then the other guys have been working and they have their own businesses, so kind of just took them for a loop. And now that we're all kind of settled and feeling it again, we're like, man, we really need to put out some. We really want to put out these songs quality and just have some fun again. So yeah, we
Right.
resurrected it.
So how long was the break?
um, our last show was in 2010, so it's been, gosh, 23 years, you could say.
Oh, wow.
22 years. Yeah. Yeah. It's been a while. So we're
Now,
all older and everything.
you being a singer, I mean, I doing the unclean vocals and the clean vocals, was it tough when you started back with the unclean vocals, or I mean, did you do it in these other bands?
No, my last band was pretty much just gutturals. And so I had to kind of get my voice back into it, kind of sing a little bit more, you know what I mean? Just make sure I could get in there and do a decent job. So yeah, I had to kind of prepare my voice to get back into doing some clean vocals.
So have you, with the unclean vocals, have you ever done any damage to your vocal cords or had any like loss of voice or anything?
The only time this happens if I play too many shows in a row, yeah, that'll happen for sure. So I try to take care of it. Even in the last band, Solus Days, we were up in Spider Studios, up in um, what is it called? Um, it's right next to Cleveland, but um,
Akron?
right next to Akron, something falls. I can't think of it right now, but
Oh yeah. Shit. I'm from here and yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah. And so we went up there and we did like four songs in 2 3 days, and after that, my voice was I could barely talk.
Yeah, I mean it's I talked to a lot of people that do unclean vocals. Recently, quite a few females,
Yeah,
which I think is freaking awesome because it's like, well, let's just bring up Alyssa Glues, from Arch Enemy.
right, right,
Stunning woman, but man, she opens up that growl, and you're like, what the hell? It's like
right,
demon coming out, and it's just really cool to see women, doing that. It's I don't even know how to explain it, man. It's like I guess men naturally have deeper voices and whatever, and it would seem
right.
like it's easier for them. But then you got these women that are sounding just like dudes, and it's what my wife said the other day. I did this band out of Switzerland, and
Oh,
they're
okay.
they're actually pretty interesting. They like she does clean and unclean vocals. They've got a violin incorporated into it. It's
Oh,
heavy as
wow.
shit. I mean, I talked to the violinist, and she was actually born in Oklahoma and moved to Switzerland and has been playing music out there. And I'm like, man, I was, it's this crazy. I was like, does she really sound like that live? And she's like, oh yeah. She's like, if not better. Oh, you got
Wow.
looks like Justin's joining.
Oh, yeah, nice. I was
Okay,
wondering if they were okay.
let me admit him real quick.
Cool.
You there, Justin? Let's see. He's joining.
Not working.
Yeah, it just takes a second, I think.
Okay.
So Justin's one of the guitar players, correct?
Yeah, that's right. One of the founding members. Yep.
Okay. So who are the founding members?
It started with Justin and Mark, the guitar players. They were from a hardcore band from LA. Carry us through, and they were in. They wanted to do something more, a little bit melodic, a little bit more metal and involved with the hardcore. And so back in the day, I don't know if you remember, but we used to have Craigslist is where I found a lot of my bands that I played with, and they put out a Craigslist ad, and I uh, I replied to it, and that's how we found each other, and we've been friends ever since.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did you make it in there, Justin?
Yeah, I did. Sorry about being late there, man.
Oh, you're fine, buddy. How's it going, man? My name's Matt. I'm with Let's Talk Music out of Columbus, Ohio.
All right, nice to meet you, Matt. How's everything going over there in Columbus?
Uh, Cold and rainy, but it's better than what's normally happened this time of year. They're talking hell. I think it's Thursday, 60 degrees in January in
Oh
Ohio,
man.
which is like unheard of.
Whoa, wow.
Yeah, Mother Nature's a bipolar bitch over here, man. She can't make it. So,
Hell yeah.
so we was just talking about how you and Mark were the original founding members of the band, and how Jay found you guys through Craigslist. So, and we had already talked about regain strength. Now, what's your input on regain strength? I mean, how do you feel about the end result of the song?
Oh man, it's been a long time coming. So actually, if we go back to to those days, the hardcore band that me and Mark were in, we were kind of, and I'm sure Jay told you this, but me and Mark are more metal guys than we were hardcore, and we found ourselves in a hardcore band, and touring and doing all that stuff, and we actually started writing Regain Strength. And the funny thing about it was, um, we really enjoyed the song because it was something that me and him collaborated on, and we, over that process, really kind of bonded as friends and musicians and everything else. And when we presented the song to the band at the time, it was interesting because they had like this back then. If you remember, there was this hardcore pride thing, and when we showed them this song, they said, "Man, this is a metal song." They were like, "What are you guys doing?" And we said, "Well, is the quality of the song any good? I mean, are we on the wrong path here?" And very shortly after we came off tour, and we, kind of decided, you know what, we like being in a band, we like entertaining people. That part of it, that bug, you never lose. You get that, and it's just there. And we kind of made a decision to start writing music for another project, and we kept going, Regain Strength being the catalyst for it. And we kept going down that path and said, you know what, we really need to start a different project that facilitates this music. Because the best way I can put it is, it felt like us. It didn't feel like we were writing music for a band. It felt like we were writing music for ourselves. And when you do that, I get this feeling that it connects more with people when it comes from what's in here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my background is I'm a old school, like 70s and 80s metal fan, and Mark's a very modern metal guy. So that was kind of how blending the two was fun when we were writing. And we ended up completing a chunk of songs doing that. And we said, man, this is the first time where we have songs and we have product for a band, but we don't have a band.
Right.
So yeah, we found Jay on a Craigslist ad, which was cool because we had tried a few other guys, and we had the same issues where it didn't feel like the puzzle piece fit together until
Right.
until really the first time Jay was there. And we said, you know what, this sounds like it goes with the music. And then it was, just a matter of a drummer and a bass player at the time. But yeah, I mean, the way I describe it to people is, I enjoy it because it's something that I think comes from us, and it's got a little bit of a unique metalcore style feel because the two main riff writers, me and Mark, come from two totally different places in metal, but we're fans of the other side. You know what I mean?
Right. So the songwriting process, is that strictly Jay, or do you guys all contribute? I mean, like, because I've talked to people where they'll say, okay, well, I'll take my lyrics to the band, and then they're like, oh, okay, and then they fill in the music, or vice versa. I mean, how does your guys' songwriting process work?
It's kind of funny because I'm same as you. I've talked to people, and everybody has their own theory, but it kind of, with everybody, what seems to happen in my experience with talking to them is, somebody comes up with an idea and everybody kind of follows the idea down a path until you get to the end result. The way that we kind of approach it, and I don't know if it's unique or I don't know what, but me and Mark really just come up with, like, I like to call it like song guidelines, and then we let everybody kind of put their input and write their own stuff to the framework that we have. And because everybody gets to put their inputs, Jay gets to design his vocals, the aggressive vocals, the clean vocals, the in-betweens, the way that he's kind of inspired to, instead of us saying, hey, we wrote this part of the song, and it's really supposed to be aggressive and, you know, anything like that.
Yeah.
We found that if you're, you know, if you're working with good people and they enjoy the music and you just kind of let them put their input the way they see it,
Mhm.
you know, you get something different than maybe what you intended. But I've never had it where it's failed us in that regard.
Well, that's a pretty awesome explanation. I mean, it is like, said, I mean, if you ever listen, like Eddie Van Halen would sit down at his piano and create his lyrics before he ever touched his guitar. Other people, like I said, they'll write a song and then they'll take it in, and it's like the band clicks so well that the rest of the musicians are like, oh shit, man, I've got something perfect for that, and they fill it all in. So, I mean, it kind of sounds like, you guys are just like a blender, and then once it gets all mixed up and shit, it's just your perfect outcome is what you have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And there's, you know, there's always, you know, if you're trying to do something professionally, for lack of better terms, I mean, I'm not a fan of that term, but you know, if you're trying to do something professionally, there's always a fine tuning process at the end. You know, when you go into recording and you're trying to get the nuts and bolts tightened down really tight with the schematic of the song, there's always that process. Which, you know, me and Mark have been writing songs for 20 years together now. You know, there's always that, but the actual inception of all of our songs, even the ones we have coming out in the next few months, they all kind of came together that way. And kind of how we're designed as a band, it works really good for us. And then, you know, we spend some time tightening the bolts, and a lot of that, you know, a lot of that stuff falls on the input that people give after they've written their parts. You know, it was funny, like just to give you an example, we have two songs that are in the later stages of production right now, and all the way up until the point of recording, me and Mark never heard the drum tracks
Oh,
for
wow.
them. We heard them as they were being recorded, and you know, we just kind of, Austin, the drummer, we kind of let him, you know, do his thing after marinating with it for a while.
Hmm.
And we said, oh, okay, look, that's a feel that didn't pop into our heads for the chorus or that particular part of the song. And you know, then after we have that input, then we'll do that tightening the bolts or fine tuning process. But you know, that kind of tells you how crazy we are. We didn't we didn't know what the drum track sounded like until it's going on the audio that everybody's going to hear.
Right. How about you, Jay? Like, did you how did you feel when they came to you with this song, Regain Strength? I mean, was you did you already have something in your mind about how you wanted to sing it, or was it just kind of on the fly, like, with the drum tracks and stuff?
Well, the way I write is I try to let the music speak to me. I like listen to the song quite a few times, kind of catch some freestyle vibes to it, and then really just for me, the music speaks to me and kind of almost writes for me. Just I get the feeling inside and feeling what it's telling me, kind of getting into it, and then I start to write lyrics. I start Most of the time I'll start writing the chorus first because that's kind of what the song's really about. You know what I mean? That's the overview of the song to me, and then I just start going from there, and it just kind of just flows. And you know what I mean? I try to just get really into it, just really feel it, and then just start writing. You know what I mean? And that's how my writing process is.
And see, and I mean, that's a beautiful example, man. I mean, you should, like you was saying in the beginning, comes from here. It should.
Yeah.
I think you have a better chance of connecting with a broader audience, and it's it's like I've said so many times that music is a universal language. I mean, it can I mean, hell, I listen to some songs that I'm like, man, that was just really heavy. And it's a light tempo, like on an R&B station or something, but the lyrics to it, you could really feel what the artist was saying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's one of the things that I appreciate most when musicians tell me that, is because it's like, you're bringing something up that might, tear you apart. Like a guy that I talked to a few months ago, he wrote a song about his dad being killed in a car accident.
Mm,
He was like, it was the most painful thing I've ever done in my life, but it was also the most therapeutic,
right.
you know,
Definitely.
and that's how music works, man. I mean, I actually did a blog on that once, like, hey, it can make you cry, it can make you happy, it can make you horny, it can piss you off, it's
For real. Definitely. That's why I love music, man. Music is passion. So for sure.
it is. So, Justin, what when you and Mark was laying this framework, did you have any lyrics to it yet, or did Jay come into that all on his own?
No, absolutely not. I mean, we didn't have a name to the song. We didn't, all we had was that complete framework. And what I mean by the framework, just to kind of give you better idea, is we had come up with the idea for a few of the riffs, and then we laid down how we were going to do the intro, the verse, the chorus, the bridge, the breakdown part, the outro. We kind of designed the song in this format that me and Mark have called a sandwich format.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a stupid name, I know, but it's kind of the way that we think, because one of the problems that we had with hardcore music, and I love hardcore music, and I'm not bagging on it in any way, but
Right.
in where we're from in Southern California, a lot of the hardcore bands we played with back then, I noticed there was a theme with a lot of the songs, and the writing of the song was, there was no cohesivity to it. It was, how can we get to the next breakdown so everybody can circle pit, you
Yeah.
know? And I enjoyed that part of it, because man, there was so much crowd interaction in that style of music, and hearing that live, but it didn't translate onto recording. It didn't translate into something that someone would put in their car and rock out to. So we kind of developed this, what we call like the sandwich style of writing for making the framework for one. And that was all we had. We didn't have any lyrics and nothing. And in the band that we were in, I actually did the backup vocals, and I helped with the writing process for the lyrics a lot. And it was kind of a relief when Jay was in the band, because he had already had an idea of what he wanted to put in himself into the lyrics, into the song.
Mhm.
I mean, the song, we were practicing the song and some of the other ones that we originally wrote for a while and playing shows and stuff. And I remember sitting there one day and I said, man, I didn't have anything to do with the lyric process, which, like I said, was great, but I didn't know really what the songs were about. So I sat there and I read them, and I said, man, Jay's really got it, for our liking, he's really got it dialed in. He's got a message that comes out in the song. He's got a way of explaining it in the lyrics, in the way that I think about like guitar solos and riffs and stuff. There's a beginning, there's a middle, and an end.
Right.
And if you have that cohesivity, and within the writing process and the overall song in general, you get your point across. People can resonate with it. It's no big secret that a lot of people that listen to heavier music pay less attention to the lyrics than in pop music or whatever, because it's heavy music, but
Right.
when I look at it, it's the same effect that when I look at some of these bands that are in our genre that I enjoy, like bands like Kill Switch, As I Lay Dying, All That Remains, people like that. They don't, just because that's the case with heavy music, they don't let that artistic part of it pass by. They really still stick you with a point. And when you sit there, as a guitarist, I listen to a lot of guitar work, but when you sit there and you read the lyrics and you pay attention to how the lyrics are designed. Why are these lyrics aggressive and the other ones in the chorus?
Mm-hmm.
And you really put thought into that. Like we were very happy with the way that Jay did it for Regain Strength, the first song that we wrote. And it was like, man, this is something people can resonate with. There's a real message there, and the way that it's being presented to people
Mm-hmm.
is in a story. It's not, hey, we're gonna throw these lyrics over here because it sounds like verse lyrics, and we're gonna put these lyrics over here because they sound like breakdown lyrics or whatever. It's something that's inspired, not just written, is what I'm trying to say.
Right, right. Yeah, and I mean, I agree with you on the bands that you did list. Love All That Remains. Seen him quite a few times. Ollie was a phenomenal guitar player. And it's just, I mean, especially with I can't remember the name of the album, but it was the one that had "What If I Was Nothing." There were some slower songs on it, and I mean, you really listen to those, it's like, man, you get the point that he's coming across with, and it's like maybe at some point in time in your life you have like felt that way, so and
Right.
even the heavier songs, like, I mean, was it Down for the Ages and stuff? I mean, it's, it a lot of good songs, and just I get where you're coming from, and like I said, I appreciate that you guys put such a hard effort into your music. It's not, like, you're going into a studio or something and it's manufactured, you know what I mean? It's not what they call it, cookie cutter music.
Yeah.
So I mean, the fact that you guys are just pouring your heart and souls into it, that's I think probably the best part of being a band.
Yeah. For
Yeah,
sure.
and anything that you do in life, not just music, I think it shines through a little bit better in music because the product that you're creating is something that's meant to touch people in some type of emotion. But anything you do in life, if there's a real purpose behind it besides getting famous, getting rich, or whatever the case is, none of us get into metal to get rich, but if there's a purpose behind whatever you do in life, it always comes across more authentic to the people that are consuming it.
Mm.
And I don't see any reason to do anything in life unless that's the case. If you're gonna write a song, why are you just gonna accept your bottom of the barrel efforts? You know what I mean? If you want people to listen to it for the fact that there's something you're trying to share with them, share it with them. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Yep. So just a couple more questions. You said in the coming months you're going to release some new singles. So, what are we talking in February, March?
I'd say like March, right? March, more on the lines of March, probably. I've got to go in. We've got what Justin and Mark and Austin and Hector already put down most of the instrumentals. So I got to get in and do my vocals, and then we can get it all mixed and mastered. But you say March, Justin? More March?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, even with the way that because we're doing everything all independently, so when we do all of our own promotion, we don't have any real inclination at this point in time of dealing with any type of label because we have the means to do everything ourselves. So um March would be probably the best case scenario. We're aiming to release two more singles back to back.
Okay.
We kind of wanted to get this one out there and let people marinate with it for a while, understand what we're about. And then, man, we got two bangers that are coming out. I was excited for Regain Strength, but these next two,
Yeah.
I'm super excited for. But yeah, middle of March would probably be best case scenario.
Okay.
Uh, because we got to do our own promotion, set everything up, and do all that stuff a record label can get done in a day.
Yeah.
We take a few weeks to do.
For real.
Well, I'll tell you what, you guys got a hell of a publicist. I've been working with Shauna for probably about a year now. She was one of the first ones that I really got with, because Boba Flex was, is a band from around here. And when they changed their name to the Lonely Ones, she started representing them. So when I hit him up, because I had him on Facebook and whatever, I was like, hey man, can we do an interview about this Lonely Ones thing? And they're like, well, you have to get with our publicist. So, I got with her, and I mean, she has turned me on to so much freaking music, man. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys got a hell of a publicist there. And I know that she loves her bands, she loves her music, you know what I mean? And she'll help you guys in any way that she possibly can.
Yeah, we got recommended to her by our good friends in Bleed the Sky. I don't know if you heard of them.
Yeah,
She
I've
represents,
interviewed
yeah.
them.
Yeah, so Bleed the Sky. I was in the band. My last band, I was with Austin, our drummer, was in
Mhm.
Bleed the Sky, and Wayne, the guitar player. We were in a band together. That's the one I was talking about. So was there. So I was like, hey, dude, we need a publicist. Like, who do you recommend? Shot us over Shauna's name, and yeah, it's been going good.
Yeah, she's wonderful. Just one final question. What about, hitting the road? I mean, I know you guys are still just kind of releasing singles and stuff, but are you thinking maybe doing some shows soon? Or are you thinking about, any kind of tour, maybe in like mid to late summer?
Justin, you go for that.
Oh man, I mean, that's kind of the elephant in the room with us, man. We all come from, touring bands and bands that are really rooted outside of the studio. We're rooted on stage, all of us. It's just
Right.
like I said, it's that bug that we have and we'll never get rid of it. But you know, what I think our roadmap is to that is we got to get some more music out there. That's what we're focusing on
Right.
really for this year. We want people to be, a little bit more familiar with us and stuff like that. And get that music in their playlists so they'll be interested in really going out and seeing us. But yeah, this year I really think it's going to be mainly getting the writing done, uh getting things recorded, getting stuff out there for people to consume. And then we'll start talking about that. I was just on Jay knows a good friend of ours. He actually did some drum work for us. His name's Mauricio. He's in a band called Minus in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he was talking to me about it last night or the night before. My days are getting all mixed up now, but he was like, "Yeah, man, come down here. We got plenty of shows." And I was like, "Man, every fiber of my being wants to say yes, but you kind of gotta get the work done first, and then go for playtime.
Right.
So I can't give you a definitive answer on that as much as I would love to. I would just say, for anybody that's interested in us, just stay tuned, keep an eye on social media, keep an eye on the website. We're kind of notorious for promoting things a little bit too early.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I'm sure well before we get on stage, people will know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was checking out your website. So, and that's something else that I do whenever I get to editing the video is in the description I'll put, the link for your new song, your website, your Facebook. That way, people looking at you on YouTube can say, okay, let me check these guys out or whatever. And it's worked out better because I was trying to at the end, of the song put in your video. Well, I did that a few times, got hit with copyright claims. People were like, well, I wrote the song, I did this, you're more than welcome to use it, but there's somebody else that owns the rights, which is CD Baby. They are a lot of ones that were throwing out the copyright claims. They don't really own the rights to the song, but they protect independent artists.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, it was just a warning. It wasn't like, oh, you just took a mega hit and played it on your YouTube and you can't do that. It was just more of if there's any money made off of this, we're getting it. You're not.
Right.
So it is. I try to give the best description of the band that I can, and it's just Yeah, I'm still, like I said, I've been doing it for about a year. I'm still kind of new at it. I try to mix my interviews up with, conversation, not just questions, pounding you with questions like, what are you going to do next? What are you going to do here? That's it. It's just nice to learn a little bit about you guys, and see wants to die who they really are, versus, okay, these guys are hardcore, going to go out there and kick ass, blah, blah, blah. I think it just, if you engage people in conversation, they feel a little more comfortable with each other, and people learn something about you they may not have known.
Yeah, I
So,
appreciate that.
all right, guys. Well, I do appreciate your time, and I will definitely be looking forward to the new music coming out in March, April, whichever one you get there. And in the meantime, I'll hit you up on social media and just check in on you and say hi.
Cool. Well, appreciate you, Matt. Appreciate you doing this for the love of music and helping artists, get their name out there, learning about us, and get on a personal level. So it's awesome. Appreciate you.
Not a problem. All right, fellas. Well, have a good evening.
Hey, you too.
All
You
right.
too, man. Thank you.
Bye.